Here's something your insurance company doesn't want you to know. There's one simple document that can literally turn a no into a yes, even after a full denial. It's called a letter of medical necessity or LMN. At first, it sounds like just another boring piece of paperwork, but this single document, when done right, can unlock approvals for thousands of dollars worth of tests, imaging, durable medical equipment, and even surgeries that insurers initially refuse to cover. Most people, patients, and providers don't realize how powerful this letter really is. So, today, I'll walk you through how it works, why insurers avoid talking about it, and how you can use it to your advantage. Why this video matters? Let's be honest, insurance denials are frustrating. You might think a rejection is the end of the line, but in US healthcare, denied doesn't mean done. Behind the scenes, one of the strongest weapons you have is a well written letter of medical necessity. Today, we'll cover what LMNs actually are, why insurers quietly downplay them, what makes one powerful and approval ready, real data showing they work, and how clinics can automate LMNS without hiring new staff. By the end, you'll know exactly how to use one letter to turn a denial into an approval. What is a letter of medical necessity? A letter of medical necessity, LMN, is a formal statement sent by a licensed provider to an insurance company explaining why a specific treatment, test, or piece of equipment is medically essential. It must clearly connect the diagnosis ICD-10 code, the procedure or treatment CPT/HCPCS, and the medical reasoning behind why standard care doesn't work. It's usually written and signed by a physician, nurse practitioner, or therapist involved in the patient's care, not a prior authorization. An LMN is different. It's used when prior auth has already been denied or when the payer asks for extra justification. Common uses DME, wheelchairs, braces, oxygen, high cost imaging, MRI, PET, CT with contrast, behavioral and therapy care, ABA, OT, PT, speech, fertility, genetics, or off label meds. In short, it's the proof your insurer needs to reverse a no. Why insurers don't promote them? Here's the part no insurer will ever admit. When a detailed LMN lands in their system, they're often legally required to re review your case. That means another doctor looks at it. The denial must be justified in writing. And if your LMN meets policy standards, they often have to approve it. So, what do they do instead? They make the process confusing, fax only submissions, tiny 10 to 15-day appeal windows, vague terms like submit supporting documentation, no templates, no structure. Why? Because 70% of LMNs they receive are weak or copy pasted, and that's exactly how insurers save money by rejecting letters that fail to meet the formal definition of medical necessity. Real data. Do LMNs actually work? Let's look at the numbers. A 2024 AMA survey found 64% of clinics that submitted structured, detailed LMNs after denial got a full or partial approval. Only 27% of generic LMNs were successful, and denials with no LMN had just a 6% reversal rate. That's a massive gap. So, when written correctly, an LMN doesn't just ask for coverage, it triggers a contractual review process under payer policy, CMS guidelines, and non discrimination laws. In other words, a powerful LMN forces insurers to prove that their denial follows their own medical policy. This one document can turn the tide for your claim. Part 4. What makes a strong LMN? A successful LMN isn't just emotional, it's technical. Here's the anatomy of a denial proof LMN. One accurate diagnosis, ICD-10. List the diagnosis with supporting data, labs, imaging, or clinical notes. Two, procedure or device, CPT/HCPCS. Include the full code, short description, and if possible, the retail cost. Three, why standard care won't work. List failed medications, intolerance, side effects, or risk factors. Four, evidence or policy support. Cite NIH, payer policy, or CMS guideline showing the treatment fits medical policy. Five, time sensitivity. Document how delaying cure impacts quality of life or recovery. Six, provider credentials. Full signature, title, and PI, and contact information. Bonus tip: don't attach 40 pages of chart notes, just what proves necessity. Reviewers spend approximately 6 minutes per case. Part 5, real case. LMN that got an MR, I approved. Case study: A 42-year-old female patient with chronic migraines was denied an MR with contrast. Insurer said not medically necessary. We submitted. Diagnosis: G 43.909, migraine unspecified. Previous treatment failures: triptans, beta blockers, Botox. Reference: NIH guideline recommending contrast, MRI for suspected vascular causes. Provider statement: patient's symptoms interfere with daily function. Standard imaging failed to identify the issue. MRI with contrast is medically necessary to rule out AVM. Result: approved in 7 business days. No peer-to-peer, no appeal required. Denial reversed just by writing it right. That's how much wording and structure matter. If this video is giving you new insight into how insurers actually work, hit that like button and subscribe. We drop weekly breakdowns on healthcare billing, automation, and patient advocacy. If your clinic is battling repeated denials for therapy, imaging, or DME, and you've never tried structured LMNs, comment below or email me. I'll send you a free LMN template and help you troubleshoot your case. No spam, no gimmicks, just real help. Because in healthcare, knowledge isn't just power, it's reimbursement. And insurers count on you not knowing this. Now you do. Let's fix the system one letter at a time. This video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, medical, or billing advice. Letters of medical necessity must be reviewed and signed by licensed healthcare providers and customized to each individual case. Insurance policies, coverage criteria, and clinical guidelines vary by state, plan, and payer.